Hey folks, Rob Daniels here for the movie, TV, and video game soundtrack program Visions in Sound. I can be found every Saturday morning on FM 98.5, and you can also find me on my website, if you miss a show, which like I said does happen, at visionsinsound.ca. Yeah, today I have something very interesting. Well, I always say that, but this time it is interesting. The music I'm talking about here today is from a television show that I talk about and people look at me kind of strange sometimes. Although people do remember it in a very vague sense, that it ran for very short periods of time here and there. But I'm talking about the British series Primeval. And Primeval is one of those shows that well, first of all, it was very early on, it was accused of being a ripoff of Doctor Who, which, yeah, no, I don't see it. I really don't see it. There are aspects that could be misconstrued as being kind of Doctor Who-ish, but no. The premise is that a bunch of anomalies, as they do call them, start showing up in and around Britain. And they start spewing out these creatures. How do I put this? Are sometimes creepy and sometimes just annoying. Meaning dinosaurs.
Really wish you hadn't done that.
Dinosaurs were huge, and Primeval got in on the wanted their piece of the dinosaur pie, I guess. So there's that. The television series itself was pretty cool, I have to admit. It had likable characters. It had a dramatic plot line. There was some really heavy stuff going on. And the main character, Nick Cutter, his wife goes missing, presumed dead. And like I said, I don't want to ruin it for those that have not seen the series, but I will say this, is that there are some, like I said, there's some interesting stuff here. And it's not to be discounted. I mean, you have to look back upon it now as a product of its time. And that is that the special effects are, I won't go so far as to call them janky, but they have this unreal quality to them that could throw people off, especially in somebody looking back upon it. But I suspend my disbelief, and the series really carries itself really well. So the music here is done by a composer, Dominic Shearer. And Dominic Shearer has a very interesting approach to the series. The music is both electronic and a little bit more traditional scoring. And, well, I'll play the opening theme, and you can determine yourself from there, and then I'll come back and we'll talk more about Primeval. So here you go. See what I mean? It has it has a very catchy opening. I find it does anyway. And so, like I said, I had a chance to interview Dominic Shearer back when the show was on. I remember him being just absolutely chuffed that people were liking his music. That was the thing. the show does carry itself pretty well for about 3 seasons. And when Nick Cutter leaves, I found that the show kind of dropped off. And which is a shame because the premise was there. And I really wish that that it continued. Now they did do a Canadian series shot in Vancouver for a while. It lasted a couple of episodes and then just didn't have the ratings to carry it through. But the series proper did carry itself pretty well for about 3 seasons, and then it carried on for a little bit longer, and then was kind of I won't say it fell apart, but there were I think the novelty had worn off, perhaps. I don't know. Series is still good. I was watching it the other day. It is, in fact, if you are curious, it is in fact on the Canadian Tubi TV. I don't know about anywhere else, but check it out on the Canadian Tubi TV if you can find it there. Yeah. So have a listen to some more tracks off of this. Like I said, Dominic Shearer does a fantastic job here. And this soundtrack was actually released on the Movie Score Media label. So have a listen here and judge for yourself. Personally, I like Dominic's music here. There are some really heartfelt moments, but there's also some really fantastic action cues that should definitely be taken into account when listening to this soundtrack. And I will say this, Primeval, I like the art on the front. I just kind of like this cover. It's pretty cool. But yeah, there's a great listen in here, and it's Dominic sure should be more well known than he is, I think, in a lot of cases. It's fun. In any case, if you're interested in any of the film, television... Oh, by the way, Galadriel, I know you're right there, and I know she's very camera shy. She comes in, she knows that I'm doing these videos. And she comes in and she's very camera shy. So she'll sit just outside camera range, and I'll look over there and people will probably think I'm crazy for looking over there, but yeah. So if she was here, she would say, like, share, and subscribe. You know what? I always say that, and if I say it too fast, it sounds like I'm saying like, share. Do you believe in life after love? I find it funny. I'm sorry if no one else does. So like, share, and subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the film, television, or video game music that I do play on the show, you can have a listen to me every Saturday morning, 12 to 2 a.m. on FM 98.5. You can also try my website if you missed the show, which, like I say, hey, does happen. visionsinsound.ca. You can also try me on I am on Blue Sky these days at visionsinsound.bsky.social. You can also try me on GoodPods, a downloadable app for your phone or other type devices, and I can be found on many of the other podcatchers out there, including the likes of Apple Music. So if you're having trouble, definitely, by all means, call 911 for immediate help. Dial or text 988 for the Suicide Crisis Helpline, 1-844-HERE-247, and HERE247.ca. They all offer ways of getting help if you or someone you know may be suffering from mental health issues. So Primeval, check it out, and get out there and listen to some fantastic scores, some wonderful scores, because there are composers out there that are worthy of your time. So with that in mind, have yourself a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.